People often ask me why I chose to live in a small mountain village instead of my hometown or any other big city around the world. I often start to explain myself before, but now I know that it wasn't really about choosing one instead of the other, but more about choosing a place called home that I call a place close to nature. I believe that humans are part of something bigger than cities and countries, and this is the world of nature that really releases our full potential. This life in the mountain teaches me every day to be more adaptable and to be maybe better in a way, even though it outplays me quite often, even after so much time. So it's a never ending learning process. This village you see behind me has always looked quite uninhabited since I moved there, but it wasn't always like that. 100 years ago, more than 900 people used to live there, and it's very fascinating for me to know that this place, very harsh place, what was once upon a time bursting with self-supported life without any of the comforts of the modern world. This is what really inspired me, and this is how the journey started. I wanted to know the recipe for the life that had been lived there. As a person that has always been really into cooking, the food and the food production was really what caught my eye immediately. So basically, I started to explore the land around me. The people who used to live in this place were not like us. It doesn't mean that we're not skilled today, but they were just different. We are having different skills, and maybe what I admire most that they had and we have forgotten today is the skill to support their lives. They were producing, preserving their food, making tools, making clothes. And by losing this lifestyle, we're in a way losing very important information. One of these, maybe what I found most important, is the knowledge about gardening in harsh mountain conditions and living in a world where we really face climate change at the moment. Paying attention to these details might really serve us very good in the long term. So basically, knowing that people depend on others nowadays to, harvest our food, take care of animals, realizing this dependence, I wanted to get my hands dirty and actually see how things work practically. Here came the most harsh point to realize that actually producing your food takes so much knowledge and is so important to understand the cycles of life that you end up feeling like a Superman making a salad. But when you know that it was previously just a handful of seeds, it makes it quite different. A tomato, for example, it needs 5 to 6 months to grow from a seed, so you can harvest a tomato from it. That's why I admire farmers so much. Gardening had taught me about seasonal food more than anything else. Because when you realize the cycles of life, you realize that it's not the most natural choice to eat tomatoes in winter. Some plants need more sunlight and warmth to grow than others. And growing them out of their season requires interfering in the natural cycle and boosting them with fertilizers. Or the other way to put them on our table is to import them from faraway places, warmer places, which of course increases their price due to transport costs. I now find really inspiring the idea that actually, if we eat by the season, we're supposed to have different food in front of us every month, basically. And this results in a very diversified eating with the best that the season has to offer. And not just that, it's the most affordable price that we can get for that food. So if this is not a win-win scenario, tell me what is it? By eating this seasonal food, you end up choosing the local food. And this is very important because by that you really support your local community of farmers. These are the people basically that enables us to nourish ourselves 3 or more times a day with the freshest food. And I'm really grateful to them. You're very lucky here in Boglavgrad because you have a really amazing farmers market. It's my favorite. I paid a visit to it before coming here to inspire myself. And it's so beautiful at this time of the year, really. It's bursting with all shades of green. Really, it's worth a visit, definitely. Of course, you can also use social media. It's a really nice source to search for people, to connect with them. It's an opportunity not to be missed in a world that is very distant now. To go on that market and ask a lady for a recipe, for example, this would be precious. Talk to the people behind your food. It's really something that I recommend you try. Um, and of course, what to do with all that seasonal great food? Instead, you can always cook with it, right? Cooking is a skill that really takes your sustainability to a whole new different level. It makes you self-supported, it makes you independent, and of course, it brings you joy. I can name a few things that less satisfying than a good homemade meal. And if I may ask a question here, can you raise your hands from all of you who cook for yourself more than 4 times a week? Honestly. Okay, I really want to get more hands up if I ask this question 2, 3 months from now. So, and what made me cook much more than I used to cook before, it was the idea that the closest shop to my house is 40 minutes away in one direction driving. So you really had to get focused. It was scary in the beginning, but then it became really inspiring. It made me much more focused. I stopped wasting food, which is very important. So it gave me a whole new perspective. I discovered foraging and I loved it. Nature has so much to offer. Imagine just wild greens, berries, mushrooms, all of these in front of your front door. So yeah, but always do that with cautious because nature has also dangerous aspects of it. So pay attention to put the adequate amount of time to learn on the topic before you start exploring the nature world, and also do it with respect. And really, the quintessential part here is that we lacking things makes us be capable of more. Like I'm a firm believer in human potential, and I really believe that it can be used to do so much good for ourselves and others. And this life of mine has showed me that we don't need much to do much. Basically, we all have the power and the capacity within ourselves to create our realities, and it's often the modern world that distracts us in a way and makes us believe that we are weak, but guys, we're not. The decisions that we make every day in our daily lives are really, really powerful, and they shape the world of tomorrow. So use that and believe that we all have the responsibility. If I may end this talk with a challenge today for you, I would be really happy if you try to implement these things we're talking about today in your daily life. For example, give a chance to seasonal food, to local producers. Research what's in season in spring, cook with it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to forget about tomatoes and cucumbers for a second. You'll find a whole new world of other vegetables, root vegetables, greens, seeds, nuts, many beautiful things. Or maybe you can plant a little garden on your balcony. No garden is too small to matter. Every garden is important. And what's best to, spice your dishes with some fresh herbs. This is really satisfying. Maybe you can start visiting your beautiful farmers market here in this city. You can go with a friend on a Saturday, buy some beautiful fruits and vegetables, then you can cook lunch together instead of going and grabbing a pizza or eating out. Or you can enjoy this beautiful season we have now and forage for some nettle. If you haven't done that before, it's really nice. It's another win-win scenario. You walk, so you exercise, you breathe fresh air, you get some free lunch. It's not a mirage, you can get it thanks to nature. So basically, there are many things you can implement in your daily life that can burst it with color. Something else you can do, you can try, for example, to next time you crave something, you can try to recreate it yourself with leftovers in your fridge, then running to the supermarket every time and buying your next package of whatever. I'm sure you'll be happy with yourself and your wallet will be happy too. So it's another thing that you can try doing. And yeah, the main thing for me that made a change for me is believing in your own skills. This is the first step to be made. And don't be afraid of unfavorable circumstances, but use them as an opportunity to take the best of them. If I haven't believed in myself 5 years ago that I can create the life that I wanted, I would have never been here in front of you today. So I might be at the beginning of my journey yet, but it's better to start now than never. And sometimes it starts with the plate in front of you. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you.